I've been making videos on the internet for almost a decade, and every time I press publish, there's always a chance that this happens. The more I mention these WhatsApp groups to other people, someone downloads my video, uploads it somewhere else, and gets some views for themselves. This kind of thing has happened for years, and I'm used to it. I flag it when it happens, and I move on. But over the past couple years, I've noticed something new happening to my old videos. Something much weirder. Sometimes it's a sloppy AI version of my videos, rewritten with new, usually AI visuals.
Who or what had carved these patterns in a place where not even a single human settlement existed?
Other times somebody records their own version of one of my videos.
This moment on Google Street View.
هاي اللحظة على Google Street View.
One guy even remade an entire video that I made word for word and shot for shot, but in Arabic.
حاليا هاي الكاميرا تثبت على موقع اسمه Instagram.
And this was happening to other creators too.
I, as a Korean person, grew up in a time where my food was considered disgusting and stinky and gross.
What would happen if you dug a hole straight through the earth and then jumped in?
It was beat for beat, the same video.
Do you see this? What's happening here?
There's an explosion of AI-enabled copies of work that real people poured time and effort into making, including me and people I know. And then I found one channel that wouldn't just copy stories and ideas, they'd also copy a video's visual style, and they even copied the voices of real video creators.
Did Katy Perry really go to space?
A lot of my friends didn't believe that it wasn't me. They were like, whoa, that's not you?
What are these strange objects in the Chinese desert?
For a second, I was like, did I do that narration?
How is it even possible for peregrines to dive that fast? That's supposed to be me, I guess? I mean, that's my voice-ish?
My first response was to feverishly see if they had used my voice. If they didn't choose my voice, I would be offended.
What are they looking when they are checking the balls?
Things like this are frustrating, but they're also kind of fascinating. The internet is built on copying and remixing and building upon what came before. It's kind of the whole point. At the same time, new tools have made it easier than ever to change existing material just enough for it to pass as something new and to make money in the process. I wanted to figure out who's actually making this stuff. How am I supposed to feel about it? And is any of it even legal? Okay, this is so ridiculous, but it'll have to do. There were a lot of different kinds of copycat accounts out there, but there was nothing quite like What's Buzzing. It's an account that publishes explainer videos, videos about science, tech, sports, culture, history, but where other copycat accounts would grab video ideas from a variety of places, What's Buzzing stole from just one very specific corner of the internet. It was laser-focused exclusively on work published by Vox, or by people who used to work there. To be fair, not every video of theirs was ripped off from Vox, but every video used original interviews, original animations, original ideas that were lifted straight from other videos. Sometimes What's Buzzing's version would get even more views than the original, and they were clearly imitating some very specific elements, including the logo intro to this show, Tunnel Vision. That logo was designed by my friend, Estelle. So I called her up and showed her.
So let me see.
It's like a rip of the thing that you made, but just
oh my
clearly
God.
remade from scratch, right? I don't know, man. It's really wild.
God. Wait, I had no idea.
I became obsessed with figuring out who was behind What's Buzzing. Some of their older videos had names in the credits that looked a lot like Vox's, but there was no telling if these were real or made up. I tried a few things. Searching various websites for those names, doing a reverse image search on a face that appeared briefly in a few videos over a fake voice.
How was a new pope elected? Take a look at this photo.
But nothing solid turned up. So I sent over a DM. Making these videos, I'm constantly taking screenshots of everything I see so that I have a detailed record of everything I learned on the internet every step of the way. I never want to get sloppy with visuals. If I'm talking about something that happened in a desert in Arizona, I want to show you B-roll from a desert in Arizona, not just any desert. But the problem is that a lot of stock video sites categorize their stuff so generically that it's hard to do that. That's where the sponsor of this video comes in, Storyblocks. It's also where all of these clips come from. It's a site where for one set price, you can get unlimited downloads of high quality media. The thing I really love about Storyblocks is that their footage is categorized in detail, so my visuals can be specific and they can be accurate. Storyblocks also just announced that they do not accept generative content submissions into their library, so while I'm trying to tell stories that are real, I don't have to worry about using clips that aren't. So thank you to Storyblocks for supporting this video and my channel. You can sign up for an annual plan today at the link in my description, storyblocks.com/tunnelvision. Okay, back to the story. Looking through What's Buzzing's videos, there were some obvious copies. But other videos that looked like clear ripoffs were actually genuinely different in substance, where completely generated AI remakes would cover the same story with the same facts in the same order. Some of What's Buzzing's videos would take the same question and then just answer it in a completely different way. The Vox video describes a 19th century photographer who figured out why cats always land on their feet. The What's Buzzing video gives a straightforward science explanation. It was like they had taken the topic of a high-performing video and just made their own version. I had a lot of questions, but one thing I really wanted to understand was whether any of this was legal. So I sat down with someone who could help me understand what was actually allowed here, a copyright lawyer. There have been some things I've come across where I see the fingerprints of my work very clearly, and then I take a step back and it's like, okay, this is a little explainer about the layout of Barcelona. Part of me wants to say, oh, that's my idea. And then the other part of me is like, I don't own the fact that this is true about the world.
In a nutshell, nobody owns facts and ideas. You may even be the first person to sort of pull together a really interesting historical narrative, but once you've published that historical narrative, anyone is free in some sense to retell that story. All that you will own then is the way that you told it.
Brandon told me this is called the idea-expression dichotomy. Facts and ideas are generally not protected by copyright, but the way that you express them is.
So you have to kind of figure out, have they taken the part of the story that is creative and expressive and original to me, or have they taken the part that is factual and free for anyone?
A copycat that directly uses original elements does infringe on expression, but a rewritten script that uses the same facts and new visuals doesn't.
The interesting thing about AI is that it does make it very easy to kind of extract the ideas and leave the expression. And when people do that, that's fine. You know, that's like most of journalism, unless you work at the Times or the Associated Press, you know. The fact that a computer sort of does it faster doesn't necessarily matter.
Creators, you know, they come across this stuff and they're like, whoa, that's my stuff, and it's just been reworded and it's different, but I can still recognize that that wouldn't exist without the work that I did.
If it weren't for me and what I did, this other thing couldn't exist, right?
Totally.
That's a really strong kind of like moral impulse that folks have. And I'm here to tell you, copyright does not represent that impulse at all.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
It does not matter. There's a great case, Feist v. Rural Telephone Company. One company had gone door to door to build up a telephone directory, and then the other company just made a copy and added a few other numbers and republished it. There was a theory called the sweat of the brow theory that said, if it's really hard, if this thing wouldn't exist but for your very hard work, you should get some kind of copyright, even if it's a bunch of facts. And the court said, well, sorry, but it may seem unfair to the person that did all the hard work the first time, but actually, that's how copyright works. Copyright leaves facts and ideas for free for anyone to build on, no matter how hard they were to find the first time.
Back on Instagram, What's Buzzing responded. They told me they're based in Chicago, and we chatted about hopping on a call sometime. But when I followed up, and followed up again, they stopped responding. A few weeks later, I sent them an email, and within a few hours, someone named Anna, who handles collaborations and related opportunities for the channel, got back to me. and told me that What's Buzzing was unavailable for comment at this time. So I sent one last email. I told them about this video and asked if they were available to comment. And I waited. Hey, real quick, it is a weird time in journalism right now between AI and algorithms and ad deals. Doing work that is accurate and true with depth and with nuance is complicated. We're creating New Press to change that. New Press is the next big step that I'm taking to make my work more transparent and more community-driven, and to invite all of you into this process much earlier and in a much bigger way. You can go to the link in the description to join the waitlist to be part of this new platform for journalism. I'm launching it along with Sam from Search Party and Joni Harris, who you will hear from when you join. Our hope is that it's an antidote to the chaos and the noise of modern media, and a refuge where you can learn about the world with others. Okay, let's get back to the video. Okay, let's take a second to think about this. I had enough info by now that I could make a sort of plagiarism matrix. Brandon had told me that there's a difference between copying the expression of an idea and copying the idea. So here's a re-upload, a clear copy of the expression of an idea. I think the shot-for-shot imitation in Arabic probably belongs here too, because it copies not just the story, but the way I told it. And over here we have AI-generated derivatives, as well as something like What's Buzzing. But these two aren't created equal. There's clearly a difference in degree of work that's going into this. And even if that doesn't matter legally, it matters to me. Because for me at least, it feels a lot worse to see your work turned into AI slop than it feels to see it meticulously turned into something else. Running What's Buzzing takes a lot of work. Even though most of their story topics are copied from elsewhere, I can recognize original animations, original edits, original editorial decisions. Making AI-generated derivatives, I assume, doesn't take a lot of work. Making a shot-for-shot remake, on the other hand, does take a lot of work, and re-uploading doesn't. On YouTube and other platforms, there are systems that sometimes automatically take material like this down. But there's a whole ecosystem of creators using AI tools to change re-uploaded content just enough so that that doesn't happen. To do the bare minimum to get their content to legally land here. And they also make tutorials to show you how you can do it too.
Legally copying and pasting.
Legally reusing other people's content.
These videos are literally reused videos. I'm taking other people's content. I'm going to show you exactly how to do all that.
One of the people behind those tutorials is Kevis.
I notice right behind you, you have 3 plaques at least. How many accounts do you run?
I run about 6 channels. I mean, these are my main channels. Each video takes you sub 10 minutes to make once you really optimize your process. Maybe you make the clip funny, add memes, add sound effects. But the more generally accepted way that most of the times will allow you to actually monetize is really just to have some voiceover on top.
This little guy lost control and was about to fail this challenge. He had to think fast, but instead of falling, he came up with a clever plan to redeem himself.
It's the path of least resistance, right?
Has there been a situation where someone has asked you to take something down, like as the original poster?
Well, yeah, it definitely happens. Like I said, YouTube Shorts is a volume game. If you make like 1,000 videos, you will have that odd one video or two. But by then, before that happens, you've made so much money and you don't really care that much anymore. Yeah.
Kevis told me he used to make documentary-style content, but now specializes in republishing viral videos, so our work doesn't really overlap that much. But it still felt weird as someone who spends a lot of time in making video journalism that is accurate and original, hopefully a little bit entertaining, to hear it all talked about like raw material that can be transformed with AI just enough to be monetizable.
You know, I make explainer, news, educational type videos, and well, it happens every once in a while that there are people who are doing, you know, a similar practice to what you're doing for, you know, viral videos, but doing it to, you know, my content or my colleagues' content, and it feels weird to be on the other side of it.
Yeah, I get what you mean 100%. Maybe you make the first video, right, on a specific topic. The second guy that wants to make that video let's say he's lazy, right? He doesn't want to spend the whole day freaking trying to research, and they can just literally copy your video and use it as an input, right? It's ruthless. People that see it as a business, they're gonna leverage all the tools. Doesn't matter what I think, it's just gonna happen. Unless YouTube starts to try to crack down on these things. But the way it is right now is very exploitable.
Talking to Kivas made me think about YouTube in kind of a more mechanical way than I ever had before. Making things on the internet, it feels like there's always a voice in your head telling you to make more and more, faster and faster. And if you're one of the people creating original stuff, you're never going to be able to keep up with the copycats because they can copy from anywhere. What's Buzzing never got back to my email. But then, one day, the account started deleting content. One by one, some of the closest copies of original work started to disappear, and their shorts stopped being voiced by AI clones, at least not of people who I know.
I think the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's just gonna happen again. Like, I don't feel in control of this at all. All of a sudden, the problem for creativity is like, not that some person is gonna steal your ideas, it's that like everybody's AIs are being trained on your ideas. And so you never know how that's gonna pop up in the real world.
It's like sort of like if your bike gets stolen and then the cops are like, well, I don't know, what do you want us to do? It's like just a bike. I'm sure if I was like, hey, this guy's like making videos with my voice, like do something. Who's gonna do something? Like, who do I even go to, you know?
They're not pretending to be me. They're just using my voice. And I'm not sure we have like rules around that.
Sam's right. Because voice cloning is so new, the law isn't totally settled. So videos using AI clones of our voices might not be breaking any laws just because the laws protecting voices are still pretty limited.
We're not famous enough for them to really be recognizable or carry a lot of value. We're not John Hamm. We're not Will Arnett. We don't have these distinctive voices. What gives our voices impact in the videos is all the thought and research that we put into it, and they think that they can just shortcut it and get there.
Honestly, the voice cloning, it's like I didn't do any work to get this voice. I mean, in the early days, there was more vocal fry, and so I tried to like iron it out. It's a little bit more professional than it used to be, but it's the ideas. It's the ideas and the research that takes so many hours. That process is so hard, and so to see someone find a shortcut to that, it's like much more jarring to me than to see someone taking the sound of someone's voice.
Another question I set out to answer was whether I should be mad about these copycats. And somewhere along the way, I figured out that I kind of was, even when what they were doing was completely legal. But I also understand that every project I've ever worked on is built on the work of other people. Reporters on the ground, scientists, academics. Copycats are downstream from me, but I am downstream from countless other people whose actual original work helps me bring these stories to you. The same laws that protect my ability to do that protect anyone who wants to pick up where I left off and make something new.